Hello and good morning, everyone. I'm Sonia Blake, and I'm President and CEO of the Valley Economic Alliance in Sherman Oaks, California. And I'm thrilled to be welcoming you today to our next level growth online educational program with Paylocity today. So I want to tell you a little bit about the Valley Economic Alliance. We are a community and economic development nonprofit that was founded almost 30 years ago. And we're here to really support the growth of our local economy by helping small businesses, medium-sized and large corporations to grow and build their workforce, to obtain access to information and resources, capital and talent, and contacts that will help them start, grow, and thrive right here in our 5-city region. We represent 5 cities, including Burbank and Glendale to the east, Calabasas to the west, the city of San Fernando to the north, and the San Fernando Valley region of the city of Los Angeles throughout the center of our region. So in addition to business assistance with the Alliance, we also provide workforce development programs, helping job seekers to connect to training and employers. We promote tourism here in the Valley, and we promote environmental sustainability and the development of housing. All the different topics you might imagine can help develop our local region and help residents and businesses decide to locate in our area and stay here and grow. So we're really thrilled for all of you that hopped on today. I want to just ask the team to put in the chat our link, thevalley.net/assistance. This is the link if you want to enroll in our free business assistance program, or if you know of a business owner that might need some assistance, some help developing and growing their businesses, finding opportunities and taking advantage of all the different resources that they may not know about. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So it's helpful to have a very reputable business advisor or coach to help you navigate that. And we can do that. People can find out how at thevalley.net/assistance. And then also, before I make our first introduction, I want to let you know our next program is going to be this Thursday evening here at our office in Sherman Oaks, and it's our Valley Growth Lab. So what we do in Next Level Growth is our online education program, and then we move into the Valley Growth Lab, which is an in-person networking event at our office, and that's where we drill down deeper into the topics addressed today, as well as other topics from mentors who come to our office and provide in small groups customized advising and consultations and more information on topics like lending, procurement and contracting, and marketing, and a whole host of other business topics. So definitely thrilled to have folks participating today. Really excited about the content we're going to be able to deliver today and in the future. When you want to learn about future events, you can just go to thevalley.net/events and register and sign up for anything there that you see. Most of our programs are free. So with that, I am very thrilled to be introducing to you one of the supporters that really helps make the Alliance run. We really have a phenomenal board of directors, which is 83 Valley leaders from all walks of life. And they're really helping to provide vision and leadership and governance to help the Alliance stay on track toward our mission of improving the economic vitality of our region. And we're thrilled to have our board member and supporter, Paul Palkovic from Kulchin Insurance, with us here today. Paul is a commercial insurance and employee benefits enthusiast. He not only does this for a living, but he loves what he does. He's a trusted provider of resources, information, expertise, and solutions for his clients, of which the Alliance is proud to be one. He is our insurance broker. And he helps his clients to take a very sophisticated approach to actively manage and control their workers' compensation, employee benefits, and commercial insurance costs, among other things. Paul's been with Kulchin for over 5 years, and he's been in insurance for many, many years, bringing his expertise to the business community, to the Alliance Network, and we're super, super grateful for you, Paul. Thank you so much, Paul Palkovic.
Thank you for the nice introduction, Sonia. You know, you've been around for a while, and it's many, many years, and not just many. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I still do enjoy it. Actually, it's a lot of fun, and doing stuff like this is one of the things I enjoy most, interacting with other people and business owners and so on. So today I was asked to and had the honor of introducing Rick DeWeese from Paylocity. Rick has worked with small businesses now to help them grow their revenue, and over the last for over 20 years. He was a pioneer in augmented reality and promoted and introduced that technology throughout the US. I honestly didn't know what augmented reality was until a few minutes ago, and now have a much better understanding. It's kind of interesting. I think I'll probably take a little deeper dive after later today to get a little better knowledge on that. Rick has worked with several companies to help small businesses to help them grow, including CitizenNet and Ripple Entertainment, and that has given them a good understanding of how small businesses have been built and how they've run over the last couple decades. He's been working now in human capital management industry for several years, helping companies navigate automation, attaining and retaining better quality employees and building a culture within the organization. And he's now, as I noted earlier, an HCM account executive for Paylocity. For those of you who don't know, Paylocity is a growth tech company. It's traded on the NASDAQ, and they offer the most complete platform for a modern workforce. Rick, on the kind of the other side of the card, the personal side of the card, currently lives in Pacific Palisades and has two children. Outside of enjoying them, he likes to play sports, in particular soccer, which sounds like he's a pretty avid soccer player playing twice a week. He also is happy to take your money because he is a no limits poker tournament participant. So I imagine he's pretty good at playing poker. And he also loves music and really enjoys going to see live concerts. Like a lot of us, he's a big fan of all the local sports teams here in Southern California. And on the college side, he is a graduate of the University of Oregon. So he is a huge Oregon Duck fan. So go Ducks. So with that, Rick, thanks for joining us today. We look forward to hearing what you have to say, and take it away.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. That was great job. It is Rick DeWeese. That's fine. Yeah, thank you for the introduction, and I'm excited to be here. I figured it would be great to just dive in by first doing introductions. I'd love to, learn a little bit about who's on the call, as well as tell you a little bit about myself. I know I did a bio already that he read off very well, but I think for an agenda, do some introductions, give you a little overview about who we are as a company, Paylocity. I think we're sort of we're at the forefront of the technological, modern workforce is the term that we use frequently. But I want to kind of tell you a little bit about Paylocity, tell you a little bit how we do our from recruiting and onboarding, how we can attract and retain better quality employees, as well as from some of the tools that we have in our technology, how we can create better engagement and communication. So that's the key. So from an agenda standpoint, go a little bit about Paylocity, talk about the journey of HR, which includes those things. I did put a demo on here. If we do have some time, I can actually demo some of the technology. And if we don't have time, we could just go into Q&A, and you guys can ask questions if you have any. So how does that sound for everybody? Is that good?
Sounds
Perfect.
great.
Okay, perfect. So let me tell you a little bit about myself, even though he already did an introduction. I do have a little over 4 years of industry experience when it comes to human capital management. I worked for Paychex, selling PEO for a while. I don't know if you know what PEO is, but it's a co-employment model that helps businesses grow. My boss at Paychex moved over to Paylocity, told me that I got to come over for a year. She kept calling me and telling me about the culture, how it was different. And I didn't really quite understand until I got here how different it is from a cultural standpoint, but also from a technological standpoint. And that was one of the reasons why I brought up augmented reality, was because I do have a technology background. I love technology. And so one of the things that really brought me to Paychex was the fact that it's built on a video platform. So there's video throughout the technology. And I loved it. So then when I got here, I realized that culture was amazing. They've built a really great culture. We all work remote. And so they've built a good way to communicate through some of the platform that we utilize. So I'm born and raised here in Los Angeles. He already said I'm a University of Oregon alumni, augmented reality pioneer. We already talked about that. One thing I didn't put on there is I did run a marathon in Africa, which is kind of a fun thing to talk about, sort of an interesting thing about myself. I've been doing sports my whole life, and I just sort of ran the marathon without really training. But that was quite an experience. But I'd love to go around and kind of hear about each one of you and find out, why you're on here and sort of what you guys do. And that way I can get a better understanding of what I can sort of focus on throughout this presentation. So if we can just go around, that would be great. Just a quick introduction.
Sure, I can facilitate that. So on the line here, we have Erica, Jackie, and myself with the Alliance. And then, okay, so our guest by the name of LaForma online here, you came on first. Welcome, and just have you introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is not LaForma, that's the company name. I did something wrong. So my name is Balaz Nagy, and I'm a small business owner. I started my business when I was 25 years old. It's been 17 years, and basically I emigrated to the United States when I was 18. My grandpa bought my airplane tickets, and I'm chasing the American dreams ever since. And I started the business 25, and as of today, I grew it after 17 years to a business where we have 20 employees, and I'm seeking to continue grow and learn different tools I can implement from my running my daily businesses, and that's why I'm here today, to continue learn.
Fantastic, welcome.
And then I also want to mention I'm a woodworking and slash manufacturing business. So we serve Los Angeles and greater areas, manufacturing custom cabinets and furnitures and wood products in the commercial world and in the residential sector as well.
Beautiful, great to know. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
you. Connie, is that correct? Connie Moran. Hello, Connie. You want to introduce yourself? Looks like she might not be available to introduce herself. And I think our other guest has hopped off. So back to you, Rick.
And then there's Jackie.
Oh, yes, I introduced Jackie as part of the Alliance team, but go ahead, Jackie, feel free to share anything.
Hi, Rick. Nice to meet you. I was very interested in learning about this. I'm Director of Investor Relations for the Economic Alliance, and so I am a connector. So with all of our board members like Paul and such, I love to connect people with the different services and products that people need. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Great. Well, I'll just dive in and tell you guys a little bit about Paylocity, some of the background about the company, and then we'll go through some of the modules that we utilize for attracting and retaining, and then also for communication. So a little background about Paylocity. We were started in 1997. We are the first cloud-based company within this space, and we actually developed our technology from the ground up. When we do create a platform or connection with a company, we build it from the ground up. It's an open API technology, so we can integrate with over 350 different applications and platforms throughout everything from 401k to benefits to workers' comp. And the reason why we developed it this way is because we realized in the modern workforce, there's a lot of companies that have sort of disjointed platforms. So when you start a business, usually what you're looking for is how are we going to communicate? Are we going to utilize Slack? Are we going to utilize email? Are we going to utilize text? How are we going to be able to access information for benefits? Is it going to be directly through our benefit provider, or are we going to be able to utilize it on the platform that we're using? So the open API architecture allows us to be able to communicate with a lot of different platforms and bring everything under one umbrella so that you can access information easily, get insights on the back end, and run your business the operation pretty smoothly. We have over 37,000 clients nationwide, and we have, if you look up here, we use a co-creation as something that basically what that means is we get information back from our clients about what they like about the technology and how we might be able to expand the technology. Maybe there's platforms out there that we need to integrate with. They can go ahead and tell us, and through our platform, it will go directly to our engineers. And if enough people are asking for it, we'll actually develop it within our technology. So it truly is a co-creation model. We're able to provide really the ability for companies to grow and expand and utilize different types of platforms in a pretty seamless manner. The middle information I love to bring up, we're going to be $1 billion company here in the next month or two, and 15% of our revenue goes back into R&D. And that's really important because our CEO told us $150 million is going to go into our platform to be able to keep up to date with all the new technology that's out there, make sure that we're at the forefront of this technological wave that we're experiencing. And we're not going to be missing out on anything. And sort of one of the things I like to bring up about our company is that we're a tech growth company that works in the payroll space and the HR space, whereas a lot of the companies that have been developed or pioneers of this technology, they're actually now trying to move into the technological space. They're trying to embed video. They're trying to do the things that we've already created. So they're a little bit backwards. We always like to bring up G2. G2 on here, we're a leader in that. That's like the Yelp of technology. So we always say, if you're going to look up any kind of partner when it comes to technology, you want to go to G2. In G2, you're not able to pay for any good reviews or pay for any bad reviews to be taken off. When you go to G2 and you're looking at technology, it's going to be people who've used it or have used it in the past or are using it now. And that's how they get the rankings within that technology. So if you're ever looking up any type of technology, you want to know what the best software is out there, that's something that we like to point to. So getting into, we already discussed this a little bit, the integration, having an open API. We don't sell benefits. We never will. We don't sell workers' comp. We actually partner with brokers and come to the table with the ability to provide that for a business. If you already have a broker that you like, usually they're utilizing some of the benefit tools you see up here, like Employee Navigator or Ease. And so since we integrate with that, you can keep the broker that you have, or we can provide a broker on the back end. So I'm always partnering with brokers. That way, when I come to the table and we go through a needs analysis for your company, I can actually bring a broker and provide that if need be. But these are some of the companies that we integrate with. When it comes to recruiting, that's really important, obviously, to attain and retain the best quality employees. We integrate with Indeed, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and a lot of companies are utilizing those nowadays to find their employees. And I'm going to dive in a little deeper when it comes to recruiting, just because I feel like that's a really important way to attain the best quality employees. I think our recruiting tool and our onboarding tool are a key differentiator. I don't know about you guys, but when you were looking for a new job, it was difficult in the past when you'd see a job description, but you didn't really know much about the company other than a little write-up. What we do for our technology is we embed video throughout. So our recruiting, is actually a little bit different, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But this is just showing you the integration marketplace on how our technology can integrate with all of these different platforms, and anything from recruiting, benefits, and retirement. The beauty about this is that employees can then go in and they can make changes on their own, and it will automatically integrate with our payroll. So HR gets sort of that taken off of their plate. You guys have any questions about Paylocity in general, or do you have a good understanding now? It's good. Okay, perfect. So let me jump into what we have gathered with our 37,000 companies that we work with nationwide, and really that's the challenges and the journey of HR. What we've come up with are these 3 buckets of HR that really affect every business, whether you're an owner or an HR director. These are really the 3 things that we've noticed that are really an owner or an HR director, they're doing on a daily basis, right? Streamline and automating has become something that is sort of a pain for all business owners and HR directors. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of manual processes that they have to deal with on a daily basis, and most owners and HR directors don't get into their owning a business or being an HR director to manage paperwork and file stuff and be able to recall that type of thing. So that's really kind of a challenge, is streamlining and automating. And then all businesses deal with attracting and retaining talent, right? That's really the key, is getting the best quality talent. I mean, labor costs are high. I think when it comes to turnover, they say it's about 4 to 5 times what the salary of the employee is if you have to restart that process of hiring someone. So it's obviously very key to attract and retain the best quality employees. And then once you get them in, building a culture and connection where they want to stay, right? I think we do a really good job of that. And there's a reason for that. We come to this slide where we start focusing on streamline automating. Why are companies still facing those same manual challenges of the paperwork and dealing with manually doing things? And then do the current technologies that they're utilizing, like the ADPs and the Paychecks and Paycors and all these other payroll companies, are they really actually helping to attract and retain employees and optimize talent? That's sort of a rhetorical question that we come to. And really, we have the answer. These legacy systems that were created, they were great. They were created initially like 20, 30 years ago. And the idea was really employer focused, automation to the hire retire process, being able to provide employees self-service, but really a lot of employees weren't utilizing the self-service aspect of that. They would just go to their HR director or their owner to ask questions about 401k, or if they needed to make changes, any benefit questions they had. The software, the legacy system technology was good with integration, but not really supporting the employees, right? And so our organization was like, this is great for employers, the way that this technology is built. Let's better that technology, but then also add what employees might want, right? And that's really key when it comes to attracting a talent and bringing in the best quality talent, is providing employees with the opportunity for transparency and communication within an organization, connection to the organization, and to their peers within the organization, providing growth and development, and then really feeling heard as an employee. And one of the things that we did was we developed our application, which can be done online or through a phone for the employee, right? To become more efficient, to help with communication, and to be able to provide all the tools necessary to grow within an organization. So this really is what my day in the life of Paylocity might look like, which would sort of going to bleed into engagement and communication within an organization. So most of us, when we wake up in the morning in the past, I don't know about you guys, but what I would do is I would go onto Twitter, or I go on to, a news source to try and find information about my industry, get, more knowledge about about, different organizations throughout the United States, vertical markets, what they're doing, that type of thing. If there's any law changes that come up. So now I don't have to do that. I don't have to go to different platforms. I don't have to be, in that disjointed world where I'm going to different applications. It's all within one application for Paylocity. So if you look on the right side of the screen, we have something called discussion groups that it's our community, right? We're able to provide information from everyone throughout the United States. I can create my own community group, whether for me it's Oregon Ducks. I can put articles about the football team or the basketball team, and anybody throughout the United States can actually comment, do that type of thing. It's really kind of like a Facebook type of thing, but within our application. So this is actually building communication throughout our organization. Paylocity is a company where we don't have a bunch of brick and mortar locations. We have a couple nationwide, more so for for employers to go for service if they have any issues, and for our marketing department, that type of thing. Most of us work remotely. And so in order to build communication throughout our organization, especially through COVID, when everybody was at home and there wasn't really any water cooler talk, we created this community application within here that can actually bring back that water cooler talk. As you notice on the screen, this is just a pets community that we've developed, and people post pictures of their pets, right? So this can create a communication throughout the nation. I might have a dog that's similar to somebody on the East Coast, and now I'm communicating off them through our application about that dog. You can take it a step further. On my team, we're really interested in the laws, how laws are changing throughout California and federally, right? Any law change that comes up, I have somebody on my team that loves that type of thing. So we have our own community that we've created. Any law changes that pop up, he'll post the article and we can actually ask questions to him. We can really create an Ask the Expert group as well, where he's on that panel or HR director's on that panel, and we can ask any questions that might pop up. In this scenario, it would be an expert group when it comes to benefits, right? So your benefit provider as well as an HR director would be on this expert group, and we can ask questions about, my wife's due with her third child next week. Do I put them in the system now, or do I have to wait until enrollment period, right? And those experts for that answer those questions. So through a community and Ask the Expert, we're actually developing a communication throughout our organization that goes directly through one app, and we're creating the water cooler talk. We're answering questions, and we're not having to go out and find information in a disjointed world where we're going to Twitter and going to find information. It's actually online for us. Again, I mentioned the video being spread throughout our application. That's another thing that we have that I think is really a key tool for this day and age. I mentioned Gen Z earlier before people got on the call. It's a different generation from my generation. They're growing up with video being a super important part of their lives. They're communicating through YouTube. They're communicating through TikTok. Video is a key aspect. And so I'm happy to say with Paylocity, we have video embedded throughout the entire application, right? So we can do journal entries. So for our one-on-ones, if I can't show up with my boss, but I want to be able to tell him about something that I experienced in the field, or something that I learned through a law change, whatever the case may be, I can create a video and send it to him, and he can comment on it, and it'll live in perpetuity in our system. So when performance comes up and he, performance management, and I'm getting my yearly review, those videos are going to live in there, and he's going to be able to utilize that information. And then the last thing, I just came back from a wedding in Dallas, and I'm able to do time off requests easily and seamlessly through my phone. I request the day off. It goes directly into my director's, he gets pinged and notified. He can right there on the spot allow me to have that time off and it'll accrue within our system. So this is really like sort of the new way. Whenever we talk about the modern workforce, I've mentioned that a few times. It was in my when I was introduced. This is sort of a new way of taking all those disjointed applications that we utilize throughout our lives and bringing it all into one single sign-on application, right? Anybody have any questions or comments about that? So from that, we collaborate better, we communicate better, we can connect better throughout our organization. And I think one of the things I love to bring up, and COVID obviously hit all of our businesses very hard, but one of the things that was great in our organization, this is our CEO, Steve Beauchamp, every month or every couple of weeks, he would bring on a video like this one here, sort of a state of the union, and be able to tell us exactly what was going on within our organization from a C-level perspective. So that video would come out and people would be able to ask questions and comment and be able to collaborate on where we were as a company. And it made us feel at ease as an organization, knowing that we were getting that video and understanding where we were as an organization. So again, collaboration and communication and connection. And that's what makes Paylocity one of the best places to work. And that's how engagement can be utilized to get people, up to speed on what's happening within an organization, be able to communicate through video, and be able to collaborate even on things outside of company, like that water cooler talk that I showed you about. So really, really helps with engagement across an organization, being able to have those tools at hand. From that, also being able to utilize all the tools within my platform, I can increase my self-sufficiency within the organization, because I'm able to access information pretty easily and seamlessly on my phone. And I wanted to move over and kind of bleed into the demo so you guys can get an understanding about what that looks like. So I'm going to show you what it would look like, a quick little demo of community, which I just talked about, as well as kind of showing you the journals and that type of thing, the video content. But the last part, when it comes to feeling heard and recognized with an organization, there's something that I want to show called impressions as well. But the community aspect, this is just showing you what it would look like. Benefit announcements coming out, broker puts it online, we're able to ask questions and reply, and then like it or put any emoji that we like. We have a video gallery where we can actually create announcements right here easily and seamlessly. So leadership can put out any type of video to increase engagement throughout the organization. These are the groups that we discussed. So company wellness, benefit updates, ask the HR. If you do have separate locations, or if you're in different states, this is really beneficial for engagement as well. Being able to provide any kind of announcements that might pop up. You can create your own community. Let's say you have you have an office in Arizona. You can have your Arizona office, and then you can create alerts or any kind of communication through that organization, specifically in this group, or you can do it throughout the organization. So there's HR announcements, open enrollment, all those types of things can live within here. So again, we're creating a company that is communicating very efficiently and collaborating very well as well. Now, there's a lot of different aspects of our business that I'm not going to tap into, because we can be on here for hours, but I can check my pay if I'd like to. I can access information very easily. I can bring up tax forms, and that's something that I could access. So when I was talking about being able to access information, becoming more self-sufficient as a employee, this is actually showing you. I can do time off very seamlessly and easily. I can do time and attendance and punch in. We can create geolocation, and that ties directly into payroll. I know I'm getting off a little bit from, recruiting and onboarding and bringing in the right type of employees, but I'm just trying to show you what our technology can do and how an employee can feel heard and be more self-sufficient. One of the other things I want to bring up is this thing called impressions. And this is something that I don't know if it's exclusively with our company, but it really can build morale within an organization. A lot of the time people aren't recognized for their work and doing a good job. And this is a very easy way to do it. Our company does a really good job of giving you a virtual high five if you do a good job, whether it's my director, whether it's the West Coast director of all sales, or even C-level people. They can recognize my work very easily and give me a virtual high five. And it actually goes out to the whole organization. So it's one of those things that can really build morale, make you feel like you're being recognized for doing a good job. And it's very, very easy to do. You click on one of the employees, and you go ahead and you can set these up however you like, but really simple to click on. You're doing a good job. Employee feels like they're being recognized outside of just performance management. But we've noticed that this has really built a good culture. It also makes you kind of fight for that recognition. We have a leaderboard, and then people that are on top of the leaderboard, you can give them, we have them what's called fawn points, which we can use in our employee store and buy things. You can take this as you will, but this is really a good way to build engagement and to make people feel like they're doing a good job within an organization. So that's really what I wanted to focus on when it comes to engagement and building company morale. Does anybody have any questions in regards to that? I don't know if there's any questions in there. Just let me know if there are, and I'll just move on. We've noticed, based on getting insights from all of this information that we're gathering, that there's a lower turnover of about 25%, that companies are utilizing our technology, and an increase in headcount just from that. The next thing I want to dive into, though, is talking a little bit about how we can attract and retain better quality employees into our organizations. And really, one of the things that differentiates us from other organizations out there is our recruiting and how we are able to bring in the best quality employees. Now, in the past, if I was looking for a job, what I would do is I would go onto one of these websites like Indeed, or Glassdoor, or Craigslist, some of these that are listed down below, and I'd find the companies that I like, or I'd go to their website and be able to see what they were looking for, if there's any job openings. And that process, is worked for a while, but now it's getting to the point where it's very hard to keep track of who's applying, when they've applied, how people are getting back in touch with that employee. And really, how are you going to differentiate yourself as a business when it comes to recruiting? One of the things that we do very, very well is, again, utilizing video. And we have a very easy tool when it comes to recruiting, where we can actually have the hiring manager create a video, and it can live right above the job description online or in Indeed. They can apply on the spot, fill out the information through our technology, and the application then goes into the system. It alerts the HR director. The HR director then can text back directly to that employee to let them know that they've received the application. And now you're really kind of differentiating yourself as an organization. Instead of going on to Indeed and seeing a job description that is just you're reading through, you're actually able to put a video online that might be a video about your company. It could be a video about the position. It could be a specific video about from the hiring manager. That's actually something that I felt really comfortable when I did my onboarding process with Paylocity. I'll give you an example of what happened to me in the past from an organization that I went on board with, and then what happened with Paylocity. and how they differentiate. As an employee, when you're looking to join a new organization, you're obviously looking for, a company that me personally, I'm looking for a company that's technologically advanced, that's utilizing these types of services, that's differentiating themselves from other organizations in the same vertical market. And an example of a company that I took on about 10 years ago, I remember walking in for my first day after I had been hired, and I'd gone through the recruiting process, and my onboarding consisted of walking into the office, and they put a stack of paper about this big on my desk that was the employee handbook and all these different documents I needed to fill out. And while I was doing that, it felt very unorganized. And I was just like, this is the company I've already decided to join. And I'm like getting sort of a bad first impression, right? They just weren't an organized organization. And it turned out to work out well, but it was very different from my experience from coming over to Paylocity. With Paylocity, I actually got a video from my hiring manager. I knew exactly what he looked like, his mannerisms, what my interview might feel like ahead of time, right? And I felt like very comfortable going into that interview process. When it came to onboarding, I'll get to that in a second. That process was all through my phone, digital, and I felt like, wow, this company is just progressed to a new level than what I experienced in the past. But getting back to recruiting, being able to utilize video, being able to have employees fill out an application and all their information online, have it go directly into the applicant tracking system, have text messages coming to me that they have received the application and will be in touch. Those types of things really made me feel like that it was a differentiator when it came to Paylocity as a company. Then on the back end, from an employer standpoint, they're going to be alerted that there's a new applicant. They're going to be able to see what the pipeline looks like, where their applications are coming from. So an organization is going to actually be able to see the money they're putting into Indeed, the money that they're putting into Glassdoor, which ones are working and what's not working. And now you can adjust based on what is working on the back end. If you have recruiters, which ones are working for you and how well are they working? Who the hiring managers are, delving into equal employment, whether or not you're diverse, that type of thing is very key nowadays. So from the front end to the back end of the recruiting process, you're able to be ahead of the game from utilizing text, utilizing video. All those types of things are differentiating you as a company and making you look like you're ahead of the game when it comes to recruiting. So that's the recruiting process. Anybody have any questions on that?
I love it. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because even with the manufacturers that we work with and things like that, they have such a hard time finding employees. I get so many emails from them saying that they're always recruiting and they're having a difficult time. I can see how this would put them a cut above everybody else, as a company to work with. My only concern sometimes is like with the older generation, they might be a little bit hesitant to jumping in and learning all of this technology because it does look a little bit overwhelming.
Absolutely. And that comes up a lot. One of the things we like to point out is that we have these tools available, but for older people that might not utilize those tools, you can use this on the back end as an HR director or owner and go through a more manual process if need be. This is just something that's going to be kind of a key differentiator and help with bringing in really quality talent.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Rick, is it only available on your phone or is it also available on laptops, desktops, tablets?
It's all the same. It's a single sign-on and some organizations will have all of this They might want to bring in an employee to meet people in the office while they're doing this process. Some companies just have a laptop that they can sign into, and they can go through this whole process, which I'm going to show you in a second, this onboarding process, in person, on a laptop, on their desktop, or on their phone. It works with all. The beauty of our technology also is it's a single sign-on. So once you get in, you can have access to all this information. You're not having to log into all these different areas, which is what happens with companies. Companies, will have a disjointed system where they're having to sign into the benefits broker's website, or they're having to sign into, their performance management technology, or they're having to sign into all these different areas to gather information. This is single sign-on. Everything can be done through your phone. It can be done on a laptop, can be on a desktop. It's all the same. Yeah, good question, Erica. And Jackie, thank you. So once we get through the recruiting process and we've decided to take a job, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, right? And so this is the recruiting aspect is going to show you utilizing video and how seamless and text and all that kind of stuff is going to really differentiate you. But this onboarding is something that I absolutely loved when I was onboarded. And the reason why I say you never get a second chance to make a first impression is because your onboarding is really key. A lot of companies don't realize that what I've noticed through this process of moving into this human capital management technology is the younger generation aren't the same as what we used to do. We used to accept the job and we accepted it and we moved into it and we moved in 100% and we did that job. A lot of the younger generation are accepting multiple jobs, and they're doing the onboarding with multiple jobs. And once they see how it goes, if they don't like the company, they don't like the culture, they don't like the technology, they don't think they're going to fit, they're just going to accept one position and just ghost the other companies, which is a waste of time for a business owner, a waste of time for HR directors. And it happens a lot these days. And so this is a really a key thing when it comes to utilizing a technology that's going to put you ahead of all the other companies that are out there. I love telling the story about my own onboarding process with Paylocity, because I was sitting in my living room. I just did everything through my phone, and it was all simple. I was signing all my documents, filling out my W-9s, doing all of it straight through my phone. So this is what it looks like from our onboarding. You basically, you'll see this screen. These are all the tools and tasks that you need to do. They're only going to show up from an employee standpoint. On my side, I'll see what I need to do to get through the onboarding process. And on the employer side, they're going to see what they need to do. And once they're done with filling out a part of that, it'll give you a check mark and you move on to the next part. So you can see here how much you've completed. I was doing all of this through my phone. I was able to do my employee status information, what my pay rate, I can fill out my W-2, I can do all my withholdings, my tax setup, do my direct deposit. Any document that I need signed, I can sign it digitally through my phone with my finger. And then once I was done with the onboarding process, it was complete. When I started my first day, I hadn't any of this. Let's move directly into what we're going to do. What are the tasks at hand for my position? I was meeting with my director. This was all done on the back end. Obviously, in California, you need to show proof of passport. So I did need to go to a location to show a proof of passport. But I was blown away by this, being able to do all of this in like 45 minutes from my phone and get that all out of the way. One of the cool things we had from Paylocity was a welcoming message directly from our CEO. So once I got in here, it's like, welcome to the company. We're really happy to have you on board. This could be a video. It could be the CEO of the company saying, Jackie, I'm really excited to bring you on board and thank you for taking this position. We recognized, your accomplishments, and we really want to bring you on board. We're really happy to bring you on board. It could be a personalized message. There can be aspects in here that you can put in, and this is all customizable on what to wear when you show up. If there's a parking situation, where do you need to park? What your team looks like. There might be a video based on the culture of the company, and that's what we have down here, right? What I had when I came in was a team. My team was put into Community and onto Microsoft Teams. So I immediately, my first day was, I hadn't even onboarded, and I was getting messages from my team. We're really excited for you to come on board. You know, I'm Jackie, and if you have any questions, please reach out. So before I'm even starting at a company, I'm getting, you know, text messages within a community. I'm utilizing the app. I'm creating engagement. But this really is a key differentiator. I know we're running out on time here, so I wanted to sort of end it there and open up any questions that people might have. Hopefully this is helpful and can help you guys understand how you can, you know, differentiate yourself from a recruiting and onboarding a portion, you know, from recruiting and onboarding standpoint, as well as you know, answer any, you know, show how engagement can help within an organization. Hopefully that helped you guys all out. And then the last thing I'll show is when we do get into a needs analysis, this will show you all the other tools that we can provide outside of just recruiting and onboarding. So when we do a needs analysis, we go over specific questions about your organization, everything from recruiting to onboarding, self-service, communication tools, time and attendance. We ask a ton of questions to find out how your business is operating, and then we will build something out for you. We'll build a demo where you can actually see how our technology can help through all these different aspects. And then if it makes sense, hopefully we can partner with you guys. But yeah, that's how we go through our process, and that's how we build a solution specifically for your business. And the beauty about our technology as well is that you don't need all of this. There's other companies that are out there that you have to buy it all. We actually, you can handpick what works for your business. And then if it doesn't work now, but it works down the road, you can just turn that on like light switch, and then you can use that down the road. If you did purchase something on the front end, let's say you purchase time and attendance and you realize you want to use a different platform, you can just go ahead and turn that on. The last thing I'll say is everything lives in perpetuity within our technology. We don't purge any data. So if you were to have an employee that leaves your organization and down the road they wanted to be able to pull a pull a form for tax purposes, they can go directly into their app and access that information. It'll live there in perpetuity. So you don't have to come back to you and ask for W-2s and that type of thing. So really creating a situation that not only from an organizational standpoint, you're self-sufficient, but also employees, you're self-sufficient. And that's everything.
Wow, that's great. Thank you, Rick. That's awesome. I love the solution scope, and we can see the whole sweep of applications and modules that are available. And then you took us through recruiting and onboarding as examples, so we could get a good sense of what that looks like. And it's incredibly powerful. You know, it's like we don't always think about, we have this huge process from an employer's perspective. We have this huge process with a lot of paperwork and a lot of moving parts and a lot of requirements, but we don't always see it from the new employee's perspective, and how having a seamless interface, making it easy to come on board, really makes the impression, and it kind of creates the experience of being an employee at that company in large part, especially in the beginning. So it's really good that you have sensitized, you know, us to that and the power of it and what we can do about it. So that's really very cool. Very cool. Yeah, thank you for that. And any questions for Rick? Any questions?
I did have one question. I wanted to know, so when you're onboarding, can you onboard like in separate groups? Like, yeah, you know, so you can have a group that you onboard. Sonia, I was thinking like we onboard our board members, so we could have separate groups, you know what I'm saying? They're not employees, but you could have a welcome video from her, from Fred, keep all the minutes, keep all this, keep their NDA, keep their agreements. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then everything can kind of stay in like one little group for our investors, our board members, you know, the employees. And there's so many applications that I could see that what your modules can actually do, which would be quite useful.
Mhm.
Yeah, some of the HR forms that you have to fill out and you have to sign that you're legally binded to if you ever get audited. It's because we're cloud-based, it's super simple to pull that information and provide that to any auditors that are asking for that information. So yeah, it's all customizable. Your onboarding could definitely be customizable and be for different groups. It's up to you guys.
Yeah. And what about at La Forma? Do you have any observations about this whole process, and how do you feel about it at La Forma in terms of your recruiting, your onboarding, or anything else that you've heard today? What comes up for you?
I mean, this is all like a learning curve for me. I'm a smaller company. This seems to be designed for larger scales, but this is what I wanted to grow into it. So I'm learning what are the tools out there, like, we just recently started to hire somebody who's handling an HR department. So it's all kind of developing for me as I go. So it's nice to see all the different tools available out there, and that in the future, what I can, utilize. So
Yeah.
just, I mean, the beginning of in the HR department is.
So good that you're
But,
looking around, being so.
Yeah, I mean, company is growing, and as you go, there's all, now you have multiple employees. Now you gotta deal with certain things. So, all this is just kind of folding out in my little company.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Rick, do you
Yes.
have any response to that about what size company this really makes sense for, and maybe even talk about pricing a little bit and how you determine that?
Yeah, it looks like it's built for, 1,000-person company, and because it is. The beauty about our technology is that anywhere from 1 employee all the way up to 10,000, it's not going to be any different. You're going to be utilizing the same technology no matter what. What I've noticed when companies are smaller like yours is they'll utilize our technology for payroll and for specific parts that are going to help the organization right now. So if you are in the recruiting process, you can turn on recruiting, utilize it for a little bit, and then turn it off when you're done. Or maybe it's just used for performance management. That way you can make sure that you're doing your 30, 60, 90 quarterly reviews, and you're staying on top of the employees that are coming in. That way you're protecting yourself if you do need to let somebody go, and you're doing it legally, right? So,
Yeah.
or a business like yours might be good for just being able to have access to compliance information, right? So you're getting information about that, or learning management, right? Part of the onboarding process, a lot of companies use our learning management because there's sexual harassment and harassment, all those videos embedded within our technology that you can utilize on the onboarding, and it checks the box for you to be recognized. That employees saw that video, and they recognize that they can't harass people on the job, can't do sexual harassment, and you've done your due diligence as an employer. So really for us, for a smaller business like yours, it's utilizing it for payroll, and once you start growing, you can start turning on all these other modules that make sense for you. It's going to be less expensive for you just to do payroll and do a couple of these modules than it would be to add on modules down the road. So
How is the clocking works?
the time and attendance.
Yes.
So time and attendance it's done through your cell phone. You can set up geolocation, so they can only click that they're in if they're in a certain radius from where your business is. If they're working from home, then you can make sure that they're there when they clock in and clock out. It's all done through your phone. You clock in, and it'll actually, one of the things that differentiates us from any other company in this business is from time and attendance. We have something that we can have questionnaire pop up before they clock in or clock out. For clocking out, it could say, were you injured on the job? You're a manufacturing company. You need to protect yourself, right? So when someone logs out for the day, if they're working in the warehouse, it could say, were you injured on the job? If it's yes, it'll say, go directly to your manager and report your injury, and that's protecting you as a business owner. Or you say, no, I was not injured, and now you can clock out, right? It's also going to pop up saying you haven't taken your break in 5 hours. California law requires you take a break now. So we have the ability to have questionnaires pop up within our time and attendance that's going to protect you as a business owner from workers' comp, wrongful lawsuits from workers' comp standpoint, as well as protect you. You know, someone down the road says, "Hey, I was injured 3 weeks ago," right? No, you weren't. You clocked in and said you weren't injured. It's right here. We have it documented, right?
And then you can set up projects for the clock-in.
Yes.
We-
Yep. Cost centers, different cost centers that are logging in different places. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's definitely something we can do for you. But yeah, it's directly to your phone.
Terrific. Well, awesome. Such great information. So let's see. So, we really want to be a help to businesses and bringing tools and resources like this. And Rick, just your expertise and what you brought informationally today is just so powerful and helpful for keeping business owners really, having the tools at their fingertips to help them to operate really efficiently and effectively and profitably. So thank you so much for that again. And thank you, Paul, for being with us today. And thank you so much and helping us to shape the program, and hearing about La Forma and what you're working on is really terrific. If we can be of assistance to anyone, then you definitely can reach out to us at info@economicalliance.org, and you can stay in touch with Rick. Rick, how can people be in touch with you if they'd like to do that?
That's DeWeese at Paylocity.com.
Great.
And yeah, I'm open to, if you want to continue a conversation, we can. If you guys know of any great brokers that you've worked with in the past for both benefits and for workers' comp, I'm always looking to expand my network and help them find business together, and be able to provide for businesses in the area with the best of the best when it comes to insurance brokers or workers' comp brokers. And please reach out. I'd love that.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for your time, everyone. Go forth and have an awesome day. Keep in touch with us here at the Alliance at thevalley.net/events. See what we're working on next. And we look forward to next time. Thanks so much.
you.
Take good care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.